I am Lakshmi Prasanna, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Welcome to the lecture session of image processing. In this session, we will learn about Introduction to Fourier Transform and Frequency Domain. So, in the previous sessions, we have learned about spatial domain, and now we have to learn about frequency domain. So, in the image processing, in order to process an image or to perform image enhancement, the two main techniques are spatial domain, or we can go for frequency domain. So we have completed learning about this spatial domain in the previous sessions. So what is meant by spatial domain? So in the spatial domain, so if we consider this is XY plane of an image, and here if we consider a small 3x3 size image, and in that this is one of the pixel. So in the spatial domain, how the operation will be performed means, the operation will be performed directly on the pixels. And coming to the frequency domain, the operation will not be performed directly on the pixel. Now, how the operation will be performed in the frequency domain means, so here first we will have an input image, and to that input image we have to apply some transform. We have to apply transform for that input image, and here the basic transform what we will use is Fourier transform. So that two discrete Fourier transform. So discrete Fourier transform will be used, and here in this discrete Fourier transform only the processing will be done on the image. After this discrete Fourier transform, it will be converted into frequency domain. So in order to get the original image again, we have to use here another block which is called inverse discrete Fourier transform. So if we use this inverse discrete Fourier transform, from that frequency domain, again the output image will be converted into the normal one, which is the enhanced one. So this is how the operation will be performed in case of this frequency domain. So this is the major difference between the operation on the image in case of spatial domain and frequency domain. Now, coming to the spatial domain, what we have discussed in the previous sessions. So let us recall what are all the topics we have learned in the spatial domain, so that we can easily differentiate what we are learning in the frequency domain. So in the spatial domain, we have discussed two important things. One is two important types of filters. One is smoothing filters, and the second case we have discussed about sharpening filter. So these are the two major concepts we have learned under this spatial domain. And again in this smoothing filters, we have learned two cases. One is linear filters, and the second case non-linear filters. So these are the two things we have learned. Under this linear filters, we have seen different concepts, different filters, sub-filters like. So in the linear case, we have learned about mean filter. So as we have learned, this mean filter is also called average filter. So we have discussed in detail about this mean filter, and we have also solved some example problems. So in the same way, under this non-linear filters, we have seen different types of filters like median filter, minimum filter, and maximum filter. So all these are the different types of filters we have seen under smoothing filters. So in the same way, under sharpening filters, we have seen two types of filters. We can also call it as a mask. One is Laplacian mask, and another one is gradient. So these two things we have discussed. So all these are the different topics we have learned in spatial domain in order to perform image enhancement. Now we have to learn about frequency domain. So in the frequency domain, let me tell what are all the things we are going to learn in this frequency domain concept. Same as spatial domain, here we have two classifications under this frequency domain. So same as spatial domain, here also we are learning smoothing filter. Here we are learning about smoothing filter and sharpening filter. So smoothing filter and sharpening filter. So as we know, smoothing filter is similar to low pass filter and sharpening filter is similar to high pass filter. So in this smoothing filter, we are going to learn about low pass filter, and under sharpening filters, we will learn about high pass filter. In this case, again, we have different types of low pass filters, different categories of low pass filter. So in that, one is ideal low pass filter, and next we have Butterworth low pass filter, and the last case of low pass filter is Gaussian low pass filter. And next, coming to sharpening filters, which are called high pass filters. So in this case also, high pass filters, we have different categories of high pass filters. So the first one is ideal high pass filter, Butterworth high pass filter, and the last one is Gaussian high pass filter. So all these are the different categories we need to learn in detail. Now in this session, let us have a small introduction regarding Fourier transform and the frequency domain. So we will learn about this low pass filter and high pass filter, different categories, in the upcoming sessions. Now, so coming to the introduction regarding Fourier transform and a frequency domain. Here, f of x comma y. So f of x, we have learned what is meant by frequency domain. So first, we have to consider the original input image. After that, we have to apply discrete Fourier transform, and the output image what we are getting from DFT. For that, again we need to apply inverse discrete Fourier transform. After that, the output image what we are getting again is the enhanced image. So in order to perform that entire operation, here we have considered f of x comma y, which is the input image. So input image which is represented with the function f of x comma y. Here x and y are the two coordinates of the image, and for that image, if the discrete Fourier transform is applied, then the output image will be transformed, will be converted into some other format, which is represented as f of u comma v. And if that u comma v is the output of DFT, if that input, if it is given as input to the inverse discrete Fourier transform, again the output will be the enhanced image, and it will be represented as f of x comma y. So this is the original image, and again after performing IDFT, the image what we are getting is the original image. So in between it is going under processing. So what will be the converted image after applying DFT? For example, so the discrete Fourier transform of the function f of x comma y, and consider here the image f of x comma y is in size m by n. So here m and n represents the size of row and column, and the output of this discrete Fourier transform is f of u comma v, and how it will be represented means, so f of u comma v is equal to 1 by m n. So here mn represents the size of the image m by n. So mn sigma x is equal to 0 to m minus 1, sigma y is equal to 0 to n minus 1 f of x comma y e power minus j 2 pi u x by m plus v y by n. So here we can observe this u and v. So what is that u and v means? So the values of u will be ranging from 0, 1, 2, so on m minus 1. So here this m represents the number of rows. And similarly another one is v. So what is this v representing means? It is from 0, 1, 2, so on up to n minus 1. So here n represents the number of columns. So this is the function after performing the discrete Fourier transform on the input image f of x comma y. What is the next step? For this f of u comma v, here we have to consider it as an input, and we have to apply inverse discrete Fourier transform, and the output what we are getting is f of x comma y. Now we need to know what is the function f of x comma y we are going to get. So now after applying inverse discrete Fourier transform on the input image f of u comma v, whose size is of m by n, we are going to get the output image after IDFT as f of x comma y. So how the equation will be means, f of x comma y is equal to, that is the output image after performing IDFT, f of x comma y is equal to sigma u is equal to 0 to m minus 1, sigma v is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So here m and n represents the number of rows and columns, size of an image. F of u comma v e power j 2 pi ux by m plus vy by n. Okay. So here we can observe x and y. So what are that x and y means? The values of x and y will be ranging from 0, 1, 2, so on m minus 1, and y is equal to 0, 1, 2, so on n minus 1. So these are the two important function we are going to get after performing DFT as f of u comma v. After performing IDFT, we are going to get the next important equation, which is f of x comma y. Now, so let us see what are the steps for filtering in frequency domain. So we are learning about this frequency domain. So let us see what are the steps we need to apply to perform operations on frequency domain. Here, let us consider the input image f of x comma y, and its size will be m by n initially. Initially, the input image what we are considering is f of x comma y and its size is of m by n. On that image, whose size is m by n, we have to apply zero padding on that image. After applying zero padding operation, then the size of the image will be changed because we are adding some zeros. So the size of the image will be changed to p by q. So previously it was m by n. It will be changed to p by q after performing zero padding operation. So what is that p and q means? Size will be, it also represents rows and columns, but the size will be p is equal to 2m and q is equal to 2n. So m and n values are the sizes of the original image. Size will be doubled. So the padded image what we are getting, after padding, the image what we are getting will be considered as fp of x comma y. So previously it was f of x comma y. After padding, it will be considered as the new image, which is fp of x comma y, whose size is p by q, because we have appended zeros, added zeros. And to that fp of x comma y, next step, we are going to multiply minus 1 power x plus y to center the transform. Because if we multiply fp of x comma y with minus 1 x plus y, then the shifting operation will be performed. So in order to do that only, we are going to multiply with minus 1 power x plus y. So after performing this, next we have to perform the discrete Fourier transform operation on the image fp of x comma y. Then the output what we are getting after performing DFT is considered as f of u comma v. And so the next step is we have to generate a real symmetric filters function. Here we have to use one filter and the filter function is h of u comma v. So the filter can be called as a mask and it is also represented in some odd size. Here the size of the filter is p by q, same the size of the padded image. So padded image is also p by q. Here mask size is also p by q, that is filter size is also p by q, with the center coordinates p by 2 and q by 2. Then after filter, the output what we are going to get is considered as g of u comma v, which is product of h of u comma v, that is filter function, and f of u comma v, which is output from DFT. Then obtain the processed image. That means after this filter, the output what we are getting, we are going to apply for post-processing again, because here pre-processing is done at the initial stages. Next post-processing should be applied. So gp of x comma y is equal to real value of tau bar g of u comma v into minus 1 power x plus y. So from this only, it is going to select only the real values, whereas the imaginary values will be compressed. And obtain the final output image, that is after IDFT, the image what we are getting is considered as g of x comma y. So in order to clearly understand all these steps, it is possible with the help of this block diagram. So the steps what we have discussed in the previous case, we can observe here in the block diagram clearly. So the input image here we have considered is f of x comma y, whose size is of m by n. So if you observe here in the previous step, f of x comma y size is m by n. And here the steps what we have done here all comes under pre-processing. So here what are all the things we have done in the pre-processing? We have scaled the image f of x comma y to fp of x comma y. So scaling has been done here, and after scaling, the image size has changed from m by n to p by q. So all these things, after performing this, we have multiplied with minus 1. So all these steps, generally what we will call means it will be done under pre-processing. So here in the block diagram, we can observe this is the pre-processing, what we have done. So in this pre-processing, what are the steps that have taken place means, so initially scaling is performed, fp of x comma y. After that, the size of m by n has changed to p by q. And here, after that, zero padding is done. After performing zero padding, you are going to get fp of x comma y. After that, we have multiplied with a value minus 1 power x plus y. All these comes under pre-processing. And so the output of this pre-processing stage is fp of x comma y, which is given to discrete Fourier transform. So coming to the next steps, up to here it is completed. If the discrete Fourier transform is done, the output what we are getting is f of u comma v. So here the output of Fourier transform is f of u comma v. We have seen the function f of u comma v is equal to some equation we have seen, which is important equation. So after f of u comma v, what is the next step here? We have used some symmetric filter whose function is h of u comma v. So this is the filter. We have used symmetric filter whose function is h of u comma v. And the output what we are getting according to these steps, the output what we are getting is g of u comma v. So the output of the filter is g of u comma v, which is equal to h of u comma v into f of u comma v. So after that, inverse discrete, the g of u comma v is the output of this filter. If this g of u comma v is applied to inverse Fourier transform, we can see here. If it is applied to inverse Fourier transform, we are going to get the output as gp of x comma y. So here after inverse Fourier transform, we are going to get gp of x comma y. And if the gp of x comma y is given as input, compulsory here post-processing operation should be applied. Why? Because here pre-processing is done, that is the scaling of the input image is done. So size of the image has changed, everything has changed, zeros are padded. Now we have to remove all that and we have to bring the image to the original size m by n. So in order to bring like that, compulsory at the before output, we have to apply that post-processing. So previously, up to this step, the image size will be p by q because it is scaled. After post-processing, again the image size will be coming to the original position, which is m by n. So after that, we are going to get the enhanced image, output image, g of x comma y. So this is what the steps for filtering we have to follow under frequency domain. So in the upcoming sessions, we are going to learn about different types of filters. So already the spatial domain filters are completed. In the upcoming sessions, we have to learn about this frequency domain filters. Two cases, smoothing filter and sharpening filter. We have seen just the classification. Like smoothing filter, we have low pass filter, different categories like ideal, Butterworth and Gaussian. And sharpening filter, high pass filter, we have different categories like ideal high pass filter, Butterworth high pass filter and Gaussian high pass filter. So we are going to learn about this frequency domain filters in the upcoming sessions in detail. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.